justice after 24 years. Businessmen Sushil Ansal and Gopal Ansal have been sentenced to 7 years in jail for tampering with evidence linked to a fire at Delhi's Uphaar theatre in 1997, in which 59 people were killed. On the show tonight, we've got Neelam Krishnamurthy and Shekhar Krishnamurthy. They lost their children in that tragedy. Neelam Krishnamurthy has been very much the face of this fight for several decades. In 1997, a year after I joined journalism, I remember this being among my initial stories which I tracked, and I followed Neelam Krishnamurthy very, very closely, and 24 years later we continue to talk about this. But I think, Neelamji, we talk about this today with a sense of some more justice having been delivered. That was not the case for so many decades. We are also joined by Naveen Sawhney, and we are also joined by ML Sehgal. ML Sehgal lost his son Vikas, who was 21 years old. Shekhar and Neelam Krishnamurthy lost both their children. Naveen Sawhney lost his daughter, who was just 21 years old. Thank you for having the courage to come today. These are wounds which will never go away. Neelam Krishnamurthy, do you believe that the justice that you fought for so many years, you've been able to get that justice finally yesterday?
Yes, Vishnu. After about a quarter century, I can say that justice has been done. I stand vindicated. It took me 2.5 decades to get justice, which should have actually come to us within the shortest possible time. But unfortunately, in our country, justice takes a long time. And I can say that my stand has been vindicated. If you remember, I was on your show in 2015 and I had specifically said that I have lost faith in the justice delivery system in this country. I was shattered by the verdict that the Supreme Court delivered when Ansals were allowed to walk free and pay 30 crore each for their freedom of 1 year. But yesterday, my faith in the judiciary has been restored.
Yeah.
Because Ansals have rightly been convicted and sent behind bars where they belong. Because it is just not getting away with murder. They managed to do that. They also tried to get away with tampering of judicial records, which according to the Supreme Court itself, which had cancelled the bail, you all remember in 2008,
yes.
2008 the Supreme Court had cancelled the bail. And one of the Supreme Court judges had said this, tampering with evidence is worse than murder and deceit. So, which has actually been proved right. And this is what the ACMM in Patiala House Court has held. And he sent them behind bars for 7 years. That is the maximum that a ACMM can give a judgment to. Otherwise, 409 actually attracts up to life.
Right.
But he's empowered only to give up to 7 years.
Yeah. Naveen Sawhney, you lost your daughter. I believe her name was Tarika. She was just 21 years old. Could you tell us a little bit about her? Could you tell us about your daughter?
She was 21 years old and she just, cleared her college and we got her engaged and she started pursuing NIIT course in IIT because the boy was in America. So she said, we will join together and we'll work there. So on that fateful day, she went to college to get her form signed for concession because we had to travel to Goa. But she told me that she is going to the picture hall with her friend. But by afternoon, I got a call where she has gone. I said to Uphaar. Then I came to know that there is a fire.
Yeah.
And that's all our hopes of getting her married and everything shattered once we know that she is no more lying in Ames.
Horrible. Shekhar Krishnamurthy, you lost both your children. Could you tell us briefly about them? Because this is, that's something that strikes you most. Tell us about your children.
13th June 1997 has been a black day for us. And Unnati was 17 and Ujjwal was 13. And it's taken us 25 years. And we're still fighting. The fight is still on. It's quite unfortunate in this country that the victims in this case have got together, and they are fighting, not an NGO. All the 28 families together are fighting to get justice. And like Neelam said, that our hopes shattered in 2015 when they were given just mere 1 year and balance 1 year to be, substituted by the fine of 30 crores, 50 crores, whatever it is. So it really, we lost faith in the judiciary, and me and Neelam thought, no, it's no point continuing with this, because this is the kind of system we have. We already, our youth has been spent in the court. Why fight? But when we went to a children's room, they said, no, you can't give up like this. You have to get justice for us. And they have been the force behind us. And we said, look, that this case we have to lead this case to a logical conclusion. And we started following up with the case. And despite Corona, for the last about 6-7 months, me and Neelam especially, that we have been going to the court physically, because the CMM had taken a permission from the High Court, a special direction to have a virtual and both physical hearing.
And this case finally progressed, in that sense.
Yeah, progressed, and we had to really, it was a very difficult case to prove, and fortunately our PP, Mr. A.T. Ansari, and our lawyer Vikas Pava, they had complete conviction for this case, and we all together, it was a teamwork, and we all fought it out, and the result is in front of you.
ML सहगल जी, आपका बेटा विकास सहगल था, 21 साल का था जब ये हादसा हुआ. विकास के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे आप?
विकास 21 साल का था. उस दिन मेरा जन्मदिन था. वो मुझे कहने लगा, पापा मैं आज यूपीएससी के ऑफिस जा रहा हूँ फॉर्म जमा करने के लिए एनडीए का. तो उसको मैंने ही अपने हाथ से 250 रुपए दिए.
वो फौजी बनना चाह रहा था?
हाँ, फौजी बनना चाहता
या
था.
आर्मी ज्वाइन करना चाह रहा था?
आर्मी ज्वाइन करना चाहता था. He was 5'10" height. He was a very good body height. तो आर्मी ज्वाइन करना चाहता था. मैंने उसको 250 रुपए दिए. पहले उसने यूपीएससी में फॉर्म जमा किया जाके सुबह मॉर्निंग में, और फिर वो टीचर उपहार सिनेमा पे चला गया पिक्चर देखने के लिए, मुझे बता के कि मैं सिनेमा घर जा रहा हूँ.
और वो भी बॉर्डर सिनेमा?
बॉर्डर सिनेमा. तो मैं आईटी में था उस टाइम दफ्तर में. 5 बजे मुझे पता लगा जब ऑफिस छूटा हमारा कि उपहार सिनेमा में आग लग गई है और विक्की भी पिक्चर देखने गया हुआ है. तो जब मैं घर आया तो मुझे पता लगा कि वो पिक्चर गया हुआ है, और रात को 11 बजे तक हमने उसका इंतजार किया घर पे. वो नहीं आया. बड़ी टेंशन में हो गए. सारे रास्ते बंद थे. हॉस्पिटल में घूमते घूमते पहले मेडिकल में गए, मेडिकल से फिर सफदरजंग में गए. तो रात को 11 बजे के लगभग, 11:30 के लगभग बर्न वार्ड में उसकी डेड बॉडी मिली आउटसाइड द बरांडा, और बॉडी के साथ पड़ी थी.
Neelam ji, do you have closure in your own mind after what has happened in court?
Vishnu, there can never be a closure to what we've undergone. But yes, there can be a judicial closure to an extent, yes. Because this is something which we really wanted. But let me tell you one thing, Vishnu, this is not ending here. I know for sure maybe tomorrow, day after, they'll file an appeal and they'll ask for bail. But my question to the judiciary is, how long will they continue encouraging these people by leaving them on bail if they plan to, apply for bail and they're granted bail? And how long you're going to, let them continue with the criminal activities? It was only now that Sushil Ansal, while being convicted for the main case, being tried for the tampering case, he's gone and even cheated the government of India and the passport authorities. He's given a false affidavit and he's been getting his passport renewed, despite the fact that he's been, convicted, when you cannot get your passport renewed unless you have a NOC from the court. And Gopal Ansal has just filed an affidavit in the court while he was arguing for sentencing, saying that I have only been sentenced to 1 year by the Supreme Court and I have paid 30 crore rupees as compensation to the victims. This is on affidavit. These are the people who are never going to stop misleading the court. Never, they have no deterrence of law. They're making mockery of our criminal justice system. So are the courts going to actually grant them bail? I want to know if they're going to encourage. Had these people been not on bail, there are so many people who've been cheated by them.
Yeah.
There has to be some deterrence. It's very important. And if you cannot grant bail to Father Stan Swami, you are not granting bail to Baragar Rao, Sergeant Kumar, and Chautala. Why have sympathy for them? That is the first grievance I had with the Supreme Court. Why consider the age? Did they consider the age of the youngest victim who died in the Uphaar fire tragedy? The youngest victim was 30-day-old. Did they give consideration to the fact that there were 23 children who died in the Uphaar fire tragedy? Nobody thought about that, but everybody knew who Ansals were. They knew what their age was. Nobody knew my children's name. Nobody knew how old my children were, or for that matter, how old was Tarika and how old was Vikas. Nobody knew that. But yes, Ansals are known everywhere because they are rich and mighty. The powerful people, they have contacts at the right places. How did the judges know that they're old? Okay, fine, one can see from the affidavit. And other peculiar facts. What were the other peculiar facts?
Yeah.
I don't know any other facts about them.
I'll tell you what, ma'am, you mentioned all of this, and one of the things that you've done is you have fought for fire safety across the country. And even though a lot of you were able to get fire laws, or were part of the process through which fire laws in the country were changed and improved, we still continue to see horrific situations. For example, 4 newborns died on Monday night in a fire that broke out at a government hospital in Madhya Pradesh's Bhopal. The helpless family members had no option but to cry. The government is currently denying negligence. The facts gathered by NDTV suggest otherwise.
And Nikita, who work as laborers, lost their 12-day-old daughter in a Bhopal hospital fire.
अच्छा दूध पिला के आई, कल मैं अच्छा सब कुछ करके आई और रात को मेरा इस कांड के बाद में मेरी लड़की नहीं बची, तो बाद में सबको भगा दिया।
आप लोग को भी बिल्कुल अंदर नहीं जाने दिया, कुछ
नहीं जाने दिया।
The government says 4 children died in Monday's fire, but even today the bodies of 2 more children were brought out. Relatives alleged officials are lying and that the hospital staff fled.
यह हॉस्पिटल में कोई किसी की नहीं सुन रही है, वो सब जो दिखा रहे हैं, जो बता रहे हैं, वो सब गलत है। इतने ऐसे बच्चे नहीं है, ऐसे बहुत बच्चे हैं। शांत हो गया मेरा बच्चा, मैं घर ले जा रहा हूँ।
Shockingly, the Kamla Nehru Hospital did not have crucial fire safety clearance for the past 2 decades, and neither was the firefighting equipment working according to officials.
फायर
एक्सटिंग्विशर था, पर लेकिन हमने निकाला, खाली थे सब
कोई काम
नहीं कर रहा था। जब विश्वास सारंग आया, उसके बाद इनकी पूरी टीम अंदर घुसी और तब बच्चों को निकालना शुरू करा।
नहीं, कमला नेहरू की यदि हम बात करें प्रॉपर उसकी, तो उसके कोई एप्लीकेशन हमारे पास अभी तक नहीं है। वहाँ पर देखने पे पाया, हमारी टीम द्वारा देखने को पाया, जो इक्विपमेंट थे वो आउटडेटेड से लगे थे और काम नहीं कर रहे थे। सर, कितनी दफ़े नोटिस कमला नेहरू को दिया जा चुका है जब से आपने जब से मैंने चार्ज लिया है, तो मुझे लग रहा है 4 से 5 बार सभी हॉस्पिटल्स को नोटिस गए हैं।
The Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has ordered an inquiry and a fire safety audit of all hospitals in Madhya Pradesh.
जो निष्कर्ष आएंगे, जो दोषी होगा उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई होगी और ये भी सुनिश्चित किया जाएगा कि इस तरह की पुनरावृत्ति ना हो।
फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर नहीं है यहाँ पर, और 6-7 मंजिला बिल्डिंग यहाँ बना दी है। कहा जाता है कि मध्य प्रदेश का सबसे बेस्ट हॉस्पिटल, उसमें यह हालत है। ये सरकार पूरा जिम्मेदार है, पूरा हेल्थ स्ट्रक्चर फेल हो चुका है मध्य प्रदेश के अंदर।
Few months back, Bhopal Municipal Corporation identified 100 hospitals running without proper fire safety measures, mostly the private hospitals. But this fire hydrant inside the Kamla Nehru Hospital will tell you that what went horribly wrong inside this government hospital in Bhopal. With camera person Rizwan Khan, Anurag Dwari for NDTV.
All right, well, as you can see, so much has changed, but these basic things continue. ML Sehgal, let me come back to you. ML Sehgal जी, अभी हमने जो स्टोरी अभी चलाया, हमने एक और हादसा हुआ है भोपाल के एक हॉस्पिटल में, 4 न्यूबॉर्न बच्चे मारे गए हैं। और यहाँ भी सवाल है कि फायर फाइटिंग इक्विपमेंट था या नहीं, अगर था वो चलता नहीं था शायद, कितने साल पहले उसको चेक किया गया था, कितने महीने पहले चेक किया गया था। तो आपका लड़ाई जो है, आप 25 साल ऑलमोस्ट के लिए ये लड़ रहे, इंसाफ के लिए, आप जस्टिस के लिए लड़ रहे, और अभी भी ये चीज़ हो रहा है हमारे देश में। अगर दिल्ली में नहीं है तो और किसी शहर में है। तो आपको क्या कहना है इस पे कि मतलब फायर सेफ्टी कोई सीरियसली लेता है इस देश में?
फायर सेफ्टी को कोई भी सीरियस नहीं लेता। उपहार में भी यही हालत थी, ना तो फायर एक्सटेंशन थे, ना पानी का अरेंजमेंट था, कोई अरेंजमेंट नहीं था। सारे डोर क्लोज कर दिए, आग लगी, भगदौड़ हो गई, अंधेरा हो गया, लाइट चली गई। सिस्टम अभी तक ठीक नहीं हुआ, सारा सिस्टम खराब चल रहा है अभी भी।
Shekhar Krishnamurthy, would you like to add something to that very briefly about how, despite the new laws, fire safety is something we look away from in this country? Nobody cares.
Absolutely true, Vishnu. This is what happened 25 years back, and today, when I see this, I feel very sad for the parents of the children. And same cliche, that the people who are responsible will not be spared. This was told to us even by the Chief Minister of Delhi. But we are fighting now for the last 25 years. Uphaar was the same. Uphaar was the same. No fire extinguishers, no exit light burning, no footlights, no emergency lights. PA system was not functioning. No, fire safety, you might have rules, but people who are running, especially hospitals, why only talk about multiplexes and malls? We have to talk about hospitals. People come in such a situation. How can you, ignore the fire safety norms? And the people who are responsible to give NOCs, they should be held responsible. They should go for emergency inspections. They should go and check the availability of fire safety norms in the hospitals. They can't just take a lackadaisical attitude towards this.
Yeah.
How can you be so indifferent towards human lives? I don't understand. Small children.
Yeah.
So it's important. Even you said
No, it's absolutely shocking to lose a child like this, a newborn like this. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you're right.
Neelamji, what were you telling me a little earlier on? They were babies also, very young children in Uphaar. How many of them were very young?
There were 23 children.
23 children.
And the youngest of them being 30-day-old.
That's unbelievable. Naveen Soni, any last message? And I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Neelamji. Have you found closure in your life? Are you able to move on in your own mind?
See, you have to carry on with the life what you have been granted by the God. But the inside, what is happening, nobody knows. It's like insect which is traveling throughout your body, throughout your life. Whenever occasions like birthdays and such like this come, so you are more concerned about what happened, why it happened. The cases like Uphaar, if there should be a deterrent of law. If this Uphaar case has taken 25 years to come to the conclusion, had it been in a time-bound fashion, so probably other things, what today you are talking about, hospitals, Meerut, all these things, these would have not happened. Right. I think many lives would have been saved by now.
Yeah.
Here we don't bother about what fire laws are. Today I can again say, okay, we have not gone to the cinema hall in last 25 years, neither any one of my family. But I don't think still in these malls where you have got multiplexes and all that, there is exit and all that is very safe for any human being.
All right. Well, look, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us and our sincere condolences all these years later for your tremendous loss. It's a battle for justice at one level, but I don't think that loss can ever be something which we should forget, not even after so many years. Thank you. And Neelamji, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for fighting the way in which you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vishnu, for having us.